Or Chapter 5, Specifications. Specification requirements. Provide specifications that are brief and possible, definite and free, ambiguous and omission that may result in controversy with the contract claim for the additional compensation. Guide specification. Specification other than criteria for the material, the equipment, and test methods. Guide specification documented described in products and material and the work necessary to incorporate them in the construction project. Guide specification facilities, preparation project specifications, standardized products, and the process in their order of presentation. They are edited to conform the project requirements so that they may be incorporated into the contract documents of a specific project. Guide specification project specification sections describe the following in detail: the product system that be provided, the salient design features and performance requirements of the product and system, quality of the product and system, the methods used to ensure the quality, including on-site and off-site testing methods to be used, incorporated with the product and system in the product and project and the other features of the function necessary. Guide specification section numbered up to 10 digits of master form 04 are grouped in pairs. Each of these groupings are referred to as the level, and from 1 to 5 refer to the CSI master format website at csinet.org or SCSI Docs 9400-9361 PDF for further explanation. 521 Unified Facility Guide Specifications. Use of the guide specification, Unified Facility Guide Specification System, mandatory preparing specifications for the 5 design build project, 5 design build projects. Prescriptive specifications provided in Part 5 of the request for proposal. Unified Facility Guide Specifications are available. The Whole Building Design Guide, the website www.wholebbuildingdesign.org. Tailor the UFG and the Unified Facility Guide Specifications. It's necessary to see the work required for the specific project, including editing of the metric and inch pound. Additional modified edit to reflect the last provision of the technical materials methods, and if warranted, use the project specification section for website that are current at the beginning of the pre-final design. There's only one current version of the guide specification at any time. The guide specification with the latest revision date automatically cancels specifications of the same number of with a previous date. Regional guide specifications. Some of the activities are modified. Some of the unified guide specifications for the region they are referred to as regional guide specification. Regional guide specifications, when sections are available, the region activity of the project location are required by the contract. Regional specifications are located in the Whole Building Design Guide at wholebuildingdesign.org, CCB, BrowseCat, PHP square question 03 and CO 43 were indicated in the contract. Regional specifications are limited in number to scope of the selected subjects, such as the temporary environmental controls containing the majority of local requirements. The regional specifications are used the same way the Unified Facility Guideline specifications, except that they are used in the area of the specific facility engineering command jurisdiction. Regional specifications are numbered in the same as the Unified Facility Guideline specifications has been used as the basis for the regional specification, with the exemption of the regional designation at the 5th level of the specification master format 04. For example, the Unified Facility Guidelines specification section number 0113-330.00022 indicate the region. Assigned regional designator can be found within the regional specification of the www.building.org, CCB, BrowseCat, PHP 03NC43, Air Specification Master Format 95. The capital letter representing the Facility Engineering Command proceed with the specification number, the UFG SS05071516, aggregated surface coal and tar buildup up roofing, Navy Flag Southeast USSG L02471, bituminous concrete pavement, or for the Navy Flag Atlantic. Other guideline specification for the contractor provided specification design build projects unless required without otherwise contract for the use of the other guide specification master spec. Other means of specification are allowed with the creation complete project and specification. The specification you would specifically state compliance with the requirements of the request for proposal by using the same reference frame for the use of the design building performance technical specification. Refer to the contract directing on the preparing the project specification. On design build projects, the other guide specifications are only allowed for the basis for the information when not available. The Unified Facility Guideline specification. These development specifications must be in a CSI master format. Immediate requirements of the UFC 1300-02 of the Unified Facility Guide Specification Format Standards. 524 Performance Technical Specifications. Developing Performance Technical Specifications or PTS sections in accordance with the requirement of Chapter 3. Unified Facility Guidelines Tech Specifications. Selecting order to precedence. Unified Facility Specified Order. Otherwise in contract order to precedence for the selecting which use the Master Guide Specification to start for the conduct job that require the use of the Unified Facility Guideline Specification shall be also also as follows. Regional guide specification of the project main location where selections are available. The Unified Facility Guideline specification, Unified Facility Guideline specification, Navy, the only Unified Facility Guideline specification with a 20 at a fifth level master format 04. Unified Facility Guidelines system spec unified into no designated filing section number at the fifth level. Other DoD Unified Facility Guides spec Taylor for Navy job. Other guide specification. Preparation, policy, and guidelines, grammar, style, and language. Follow the requirements of UFC 1-300-02 of the Unified Facility Guidelines specification format stand for the paragraph 4.4. 532 project specification for the design build project prepared with the project specification section. Use the appropriate Unified Facility Guidelines specification available through the whole building design guide website or DoD whole building design guide or which is current with being with the pre-final design. Modify the guide specification to fit the project and delete the portion of the guide specification that cover the work not included in the project when the portion of the work are involved that are not covered with the guide specification. Add requirements to the project specification as necessary using language format similar to that employed by the guide specification. Use the guide specification only with the source documentation. Do not reference the project specification. Do not combine the work you're covered with the various Unified Facility Guideline specs into one section unless the work is in a minor nature. 533 standard plates and sketches and details for the design, build, and bid-build projects. Plates and sketches, boring logs, and details shall be provided within the drawings note in the specification. Proprietary specification for the design, building, bids, and project for the request for proposal development. Do not use proprietary restrictive requirements unless conclusively established that no substitute will serve the purpose if the situation arises in which only a single product will perform the required function forward or the request from the DOR to the government project manager or design manager to fully justify the use of the sole source of the product. In addition to the detailed justification, provide an estimate of the proprietary item with relation to the total project contract costs. Use the proprietary item that prohibited unless formal written approval is obtained with the level 1 contracting officer. If the authorization is granted, specify the proprietary information manufacturer's name, catalog number followed by these phrases. Notwithstanding any of the other provisions for the contract, no other product will be acceptable. The statement is necessary to override the contract clause that permanent substitution of any supposed equal product unless such language is used. Any specification section that contains proprietary items must include the notice to that effective on the first page of the section. Place the following above the section number and title at the top of the first page of the section. This specification contains proprietary products. Use of the proprietary items have been subject to the main contract claims. The project designer specified must be aware of the restriction of the specification of the proprietary items and take special precautions to avoid the use of unless formal written approval is obtained. 5.3 or equal specification. Specifying product by naming acceptable commercial products followed by the words or equal is permitted under the following circumstances and conditions. There is no government commercial standard for the specification for the item. The item is a minor part with the construction project. The item cannot be adequately described because of the technically involved with the construction composition. Each of the instances includes a description minimum of the two manufacturers followed by the words or equal. The essential features, salient characteristics of the item must be also set forth in further sufficient detail to establish the basis upon the equality of the non-listed products will be determined. 536. Experience clauses. Ordinarily, experience clauses are not included with the technical specifications on occasion because of the special difficulties in the work, strict construction schedules, or perhaps unaccessible experience with the contractor's experience clause may be used to ensure competency in the contractor. Experience clause rate with the reasonability of the firm and more specifically to its capacity to perform the work. The inclusion of the experience clause in project specification requirements approval of the level 1 contracting officer. Experience clause occur with the Unified Facility Guide spec that has been reviewed by the level 1 contracting officer may be used without further approval or waiver without adding experience clause to the Unified Facility Guide specifications and request for proposal to obtain approval of the level 1 contracting officer. 537. Warranty clause. Ordinarily, a warranty clause is not included with the specification. Warranty clause is any of the provisions modified with the terms in the nominal first year, 1 year warranty required by the contractor clause. There are two classes of exemption. First, the rare instances is acceptable to extend period of the warranty based on the judgment of the designer if the industry routinely provides such extended periods of warranty for the unusual complex nature of the net product. The provision cost effective for the life cycle basis and Unified Facility Guidelines specification suggests extension. Second, in the possibility to add term of the warranty but only in the rarest circumstances with a written approval of the level 1 contracting officer and the Unified Facility Guidelines specification indicates such an extension has been reviewed and approved by a level 1 contracting officer. 538 unrestricted bidding specification procurement statement procurement state only the actual minimum needs of the government describe the material of the installation so the encouragement maximum competition in building eliminate insofar as build with any restricted feature that might limit the accessible offers to the one supplier product to the product's relatively few suppliers. Contractor parties do not designate part of the work to perform with a particular subcontractor, plumbing contractor, and construction with the project exemption. For some of the specific instances, the government recognizes that only one contractor, prime general contractor, and its contractor's responsibility to divide up the work. The contractor clause. Do not repeal the contractor clause if the clause in project specification. The contractor clause in the contract contains requirements which affect the general conduct of the work in the contract. They are randomly modified with the specification and may weaken or void the contract clause. Okay, contractor direction. Avoid the term contractor shall. The contractor responsible for performing the work shall show and specify there is no reason to use the phrase and speak only to the contractor. Thus, the supplier, manufacturer, contractor may be directed through the manufacturer, supplier, vice versa. Starting, the manufacturer shall provide with quoted and could be interpreted with simply informing the contractor that party other than the contractor responsible comparable to the government shall provide the quoted. Likewise, there is usually no reason to differential between the actions expected of the contractor and the contractor various suppliers. Should attempt to do so, borders closely on the assignment of the work. Avoid using specifications to instruct the contracting officer. 312 specifying news items. From time to time, requests are never made to be conserved the use of the material that are relatively new, while Navy fact concurs the innovative solutions manage risk appropriate, take care of specific project items that have no gain, widely spread acceptance, and usually surface records for new materials do not exist. If there is no necessary for the paced performance of the laboratory tests, these tests may have been made under the conditions of actual use may have been conducted by a reputable, independent laboratory and must have factual documentation sufficient to support the evaluation of material. Most of the manufacturer will furnish all requested information about a product and answer all of the reasonable questions. The manufacturer may also provide a suggested competitive general type of the specification section that may be added for the project. If there are not two or more manufacturer suppliers capable of supplying the product specified, the product must be considered proprietary. Approval sought for the use of the components for the paragraph proprietary specification. F54 is coordination specification drawings as far as 52.236.21 specification drawing for the construction state where as shown indicated as detailed words or similar important are used. The reference is made with the drawing accompanying with the contract unless other stated otherwise. 541 precedents as far as 52.236.21 in general treating anything mentioned in the specification but not shown in the drawings shown on the drawings but not included specification shown and mentioned both in case the discrepancy between the drawing and the specification takes precedence or the presidency of the request proposal contracts described in Navy FAS or NASFAS Clause 52.236.93012 when published the Unified Facility Guideline 0133100520. 542 coordination. Coordinating the drawings and specifications to ensure all the items depicted in the drawings are covered in the appropriate specification section and that all the specification sections relate to the items and drawings. Specs intact. Department of Defense Agency specification process system called the Specs Intact acronym and specification kept intact. Specs Intact is the word and processing software used to edit the Unified Facility Guideline and Specs database. The system provides several times saving features, including creation of an outline specification paragraph, renumbering, printing without notes, referencing verification, bracket removal check, printing the reference standards list, and submittal to register of the report with which the list test requirements, actions, and interest for the contracting officer. The system also offers a redline editing tool that will save the project specification with edits. Specs Intact is available for download free of charge at Specs Intact website or specsintact.cx.nasa.gov. Use the master format Specs Intact. Prepare a prospective project and specification utilizing Construction and Specifications Institute CSI master format. When required for the contract, the Specs Intact software to edit the Unified Facility Guidelines Specification Section database. Organizing structure. Overall specification. Include overall cover sheet with a signature with the project specification package type, the name with the type of the principal, the designer of the record who shall sign the submitted by the location according to the paragraph 7.4. Organization, building requirements, contract requirements, building contract requirements are normally formulated, including the solicitation of the contract specialist. Do not include Unified Facility Guidelines section section 0002 1 through 00830. Available. These requirements specification table of contents, the Unified Facility Guidelines spec are listed individually. A separate table of contents for the contract as part of the solicitation package. Exemption local procedure may require that the specification written prior to one or more of the section of the Unified Facility Guidelines spec 000105010102. Lists of all the drawings shall be included in the specification package when the project includes the contract line items provide the Unified Facility Guidelines spec E0022013 or 00120. Supplementary instructions to the bidders and project information form, but do not combine it with the other specification section of the final specification package. 563 Project Information Form. Prepare the project information form, the design build projects, and the development request proposal packages. Government representative form of the project information form to the contractor specialist to prepare the acquisition part of the solicitation. A downloadable version of the project information form is available at www.wholebuildingdesign.org ccb under the specification library and Navy Fact specifications. Alright, 564 format. The EG page layout side of the lecture form specifies the defined UFC 1300-02 project print job header for the job title exactly as it appears on the drawing, justified it to the left, and with the EG project works order number, the maximum number to justify it to the right. For pre-final submittal of the following, the job title and pre-final 565 General Requirements Division 0001 so the specification section, Unified Facility Guidelines specs, general requirements section describing the general project requirements for the use of the project, including an additional section with the general requirements in nature rather than technical nature. General requirements for the part 2 general requirements of the 6-part design build request for proposal for the as use of facility guidelines specs section shown in part 2 of the whole building design guide of the Navy design build master as appropriate listed available on the following location. Wholebuildingdesignguide.org Navy build design build master. Include with the Division 01 a section instructing the project team stakeholders to use the integrated design process through the plan design and delivery stage. The memorandum of understanding the technical guidance for the integrated design process available from the Whole Building Design Guide website or wholebuildingdesignguide.org and sustainable memorandum of understanding IDPHP, including applicable reference of the memorandum of understanding technical guidance throughout the project documentation. 3. Typical general requirements of the Unified Facility Guidelines section use the design bid build project as if applicable include the following. MOF4 number the MF95 list of the drawings, supplementary instruction to bidders, summary of the work restriction, price and payment procedures, administrative requirements, web-based construction management, network analysis schedule, submittal projects, special project procedures, safety, occupational health requirements, construction quality control, temporary facility and control, temporary environmental control project identification, recycled recovered material, closeout procedures, operation maintenance data. Alright, 566 environmental requirements of asbestos, lead containing paint and PCBs, hazardous materials. Many projects include special requirements due to the presence of environmental sensitive materials, typically as part of the design request for proposal, development, contract, investigation, or conducted to determine the presence, levels, and limits of the sensitive materials reported that are provided by an investigation firm and information used as design project provided with the request for proposal. It is important for the government to provide the information to the contractor as part of the contractor's documents. Reports shall be made in part with the contractor specification, including them and the appropriate specification section, IP, i.e. the asbestos report would be placed at the end of the UFG Unified Facility Guidelines Spec 028216.020 or 313281 and engineering control of the asbestos containing materials or as attachment request proposal in Part 6. As part of the final specification, the request for proposal development submittal will provide an electronically copy of all the reports, including specifications. Request for proposal either in Word or spec intact. 567 combining projects into one bid project. Occasionally, several projects have been independently prepared with need to be easily separated, but will be combined into one bid project. One solution is combined with the packages into at least 3 parts. Part A with the general requirement division 01. Part B will be the technical specification division 0249. Request for proposal Part 3-6 for the first project, and Part C for the technical specification request for the second project. Request for proposal for the second project and additional parts depending on the number of the project being combined. Request for proposal project of which parts are shared with such as Part 2, Part 4, Part 5 projects may be combined similarly using Part 3 each for the project distinguished by the cover page of the title inserted in Part 3 and Part 6 for each of the project distinguished by the title inserted by Part 6. Then K for the Part A and B and C dividers may not be required to reflect the layout overall table contents. Slide 671, detailed guidance to provide one overall cover sheet and the signature of the cover sheet containing all the information of each project word, order number, the maximum numbers, contacted the government for which order number, the maximum number to use for the is primary. Also include all projections of different design records without required, but the request for proposal specification information each of the design record firm and agency. Be careful not to change the location electronic signature portlets, which when adding the information to the cover sheet provided Unified Facility Guidelines Specs 000115 00102 list of drawings, list of all the drawings in the entire package, group drawing list of by the projects. Provide a single overall table of contents listing each of the part with the selection documentation and part with the note the specification is spec intact with use of the current new 10 point as default of the font. Use the font generated with the table of the contents and any other documents in Word with the sample of the table of the contents provided in Figure 1.5.1. In Part A, provide the one general requirements part Division 01 specification for the packet. The division should be accurate for all the combined projects. The header of the Part A should be listed the title of each of the project justified to be left, and the corresponding E project's work order number, the maximum number for each of the project justified to the right. For the design building project, the design build request proposal that requires submittal register, provide the submittal register for each of the part at the end of the UFG and of the Unified Facility Guidelines Spec 013300 or 011330 submittal procedure Unified Facility Guideline Spec 013300050020013332 construction submittal procedure submit separate submittal register for each of the part with the divider for the example indicating the Part A submittal register, Part B with the submittal register of the proper. Let's prepare one submittal register for the section, Part A with one submittal register for the technical sections, or request for proposal section Part B, the submittal register for each of these additional technical request for proposal section in the package. For remaining technical part B and C, etc., provide the divider table of contents in the technical specifications section 0049. Request for proposal section 36 for the headers in each of the work. Each part should contain only the title of the project corresponding with each project work order number, the maximum number for the project. For example, the table of contents combined projects show the Gate 5 security improvement at NASA of Norfolk, security 22208, security improvement at Gate 10 NASA Ocean. Project table, the contents, general requirements, division, general requirements, summary of the work requirements, price and payment, procedure, administrative requirements, network analysis, schedule, base, web-based construction management, submittable procedure, quality control, temporary facility head control, safety and occupational health requirements for erosion sediment control for the Gate 5 and erosion sediment for the Gate 10, temporary environmental controls, project identification, recycled recovered material, closeout procedures, operational maintenance data, and in Part A. Part B, the Gate security improvements, Gate 5 and security improvements, NASA Norfolk, Virginia work order number 22088. Division site work, demolition, earthwork for structure, traffic barriers, division, electrical apparatus, inspection, testing, signal operation, generator set, uninterpretable power supply systems, and Part C and Part B, Part C, security improvement to Gate 10, NASA, Ocean, Virgin Beach, Virginia, work order number 235341, division site work, demolition, excavation, and filling, and water distribution, doors, windows, steel doors, hang frames, door hardware, electrical, underground transmission distribution system, interior distribution system, and Part C. Alright, Chapter 6, Contract Line Items.